This video is going to be about Sewing American, and there is one political thing attached to it, but it's probably not what you expect. On the table you see the Dexter handheld, made in America. You see 2 bobbin boxes and a tomato pin cushion with needles, and the thread on the bobbins is American-made hand quilting thread that I bought years ago. And then you see my Gateway, which is from the 1950s, also made in America. A toy machine, but it works. It's similar to a Model 20, although not as solidly made or as well made, but it works. And I want to talk about, this is mainly regarding quilts for veterans. And I've been going through a real dilemma in the past week because I found out there are 7,800 MIA from the Korean War, missing in action. 7,800 soldiers have not been returned. And when I saw that, I went into a little bit of a shock because all of my machines are Singers. I have a White and I have a Brother. The company is founded in Japan, but they make them in China. The White, according to Katie Farmer, the last time the Whites were actually made would have been connected with, they were owned by the Electrolux company out of Sweden. So that's kind of borderline, and Whites are not being made now. So I could probably use the White. The Singers are made in China and Brazil. So my dilemma became, my father served in the Korean War. He was sent to occupied Berlin instead of Korea, and if his orders had been different and he had been sent to Korea, he could be on that list of 7,800 names of soldiers we don't have back. So by buying Chinese products, using Chinese products, China is an ally of North Korea. I might as well be just sending North Korea the money for any quilt I'm making. And we are technically still at war with North Korea. South Korea wouldn't sign the agreement back in the 1950s, so the Korean War is an open wound. And so for really to hit me last week that Singer is basically a Chinese company, and if push comes to shove, their business, their profit is all based on China. They're going to be choosing China over America, which is a complete reversal. Americans built that company with their sweat and their hard work. So it's been a tough week. And sewing quilts for veterans is still something I'm doing. So I figured out yesterday, I've got three ways to do this. The Dexter, the Gateway, and hand sewing. The quilt I'm working on is, or I need to start, is actually, I want to put false chain stitch quilting on the blocks. I'm going to use the Gateway to do that with a chain stitch. I can piece them either with the Dexter or by hand. I can also do the rows with this, with the Gateway. And then when it comes to the quilting, I can either hand quilt it or I can tie it with embroidery floss at the squares of the corners. So I'm making the video. I had said the other day that I decided to sell my machines, and I'm still having a horrible time with it. I almost can't use them because my father served in the Korean War, and I go to sit down at a Singer and I'm like, well, wait a minute, that's the wrong side. So even though my machines were either made in America or allied countries, even though I've never imported a machine from another country directly, and even though I came to the conclusion that once they're accepted by U.S. Customs for sale in the U.S., they're really American, they're in the American market, it hasn't been working. So But at the same time, I go to list my machines and I'm heartbroken because my father had 7 treadles. At one point he had like 30 sewing machines. Antique, made in America, invented in America sewing is now mainly made in China, and it's heartbreaking. So, this is how you can make an American quilt. You look for American fabrics, they make them. You look for American batting, it is available. I found some at Walmart, and I do have a video up about it, although I forget the name right now. You look for a Dexter, a Gateway, thread made in America, and you could use any kind of thread. It doesn't have to be, coated quilting thread. You can just make it with thread made in America. And spiraleyeneedles.com. Now, we're all used to buying a package of Singer needles in the drugstore for like $5. And with that Singer package that's round and pretty and everything, $4.54 for 15 needles. SpiralEyeNeedles.com, made in America, invented by a woman in Minnesota. She also has machine needles. I just ordered some, and because I went to look for hand sewing needles made in America, and that was what I found, was one person. These are my vintage needle books. Most of these are made in other countries. 2 are made in Germany, 1's made in Japan. America has given up its manufacturing, and it's just kind of accidental that my father served in the Korean War, that, even though he was in Germany, and all of this has happened, and I'm having a problem using Singer machines because I feel like I'm backing the other guy. SpiralEyeNeedles.com, $5.50 per needle. But a quilt for a veteran, I'll order 1 needle for each quilt, and I'll make the quilt with that needle or these machines. So, I'm sure somebody is going to call me extreme, or that I'm overthinking, or that my PTSD is in overdrive or something. But when you think about it, we have a motto of no soldier left behind. And that either matters or it doesn't. And if it does matter, if our flag matters, if our Constitution matters, if our lives, our self-sufficiency, if all of that matters, then we need to get those guys home. There's 7,800 people not home. So, I've made slightly political videos before. This isn't about politics. These people were sons, brothers, uncles, they're family. And so if you decide that you want to buy American, these are some simple ways that you can do that.